I recently watched the Charlie Sheen documentary, aka Charlie Sheen, and I wonder if he had learned how to feel his emotions, how to sort through things better, what impact would it have on his life today?
Donna was the model in the Parliament commercial. But yes, tensions were high. We were both a little bit short with each other. And I finally just say, fuck it. I needed something quick and strong. So I power probably 4, 5, 6 shots. You know, of course, a lot of people recognize me. The navigator was outside the cockpit.
Within the first couple minutes of the documentary, Charlie talks about how things got really intense and stressful with him and his wife when they were flying on an airplane, and he solved it by going and drinking a bunch of shots of alcohol. If you're not good at feeling your emotions, you need to suppress them. Generally, coping strategies we use to suppress emotions are generally more unhealthy, and they're ultimately going to end up reinforcing and supporting your core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued. People often use these unhealthy coping strategies as a way of distracting from the emotion. So they don't have to feel it. They can just numb, not be there. But then the next day, you feel like garbage, you've broke promises, you've done things that you regret, spending money you didn't have, all kinds of things. Ultimately reinforcing and supporting that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I sensed it. There is a moment in the Philippines that is as crystal clear as though it happened yesterday. And we were outdoors at lunch early at one of the tables, you know. I remember Dad sitting down right next to me. And I remember I could smell it. I could smell the booze, you know. And he wasn't home. He wasn't there. And he had that K-bar knife. And he put it between his teeth. And he turned to me with that knife between his teeth. And I was just like, he had departed. So then I come to find out that was in the middle of the opening sequence.
In this clip, we see how Charlie's dad was also struggling with addictions. We go to what we know. So if you grew up around addictions, anger, gambling, whatever it was, you learned that was something you could use, a tool you could use to help you get through the day. Ultimately, to help you suppress your emotions. Charlie learned at a young age that he could suppress his emotions with alcohol. In this clip, Charlie also talks about his dad having a knife in his mouth, and he can reflect on what that felt like it was yesterday. Usually when we have really strong memories like this, it is because there's a bunch of suppressed emotions around it. Charlie said he could see that his dad was out of it. He wasn't really there. And then there he was with a knife in his mouth. That would have created a significant amount of emotions in Charlie, like fear, anxiety, powerlessness, vulnerability, confusion, maybe even a sense of betrayal, not sure if he can trust his dad, which would then create self-doubt, insecurity, and it also reinforces that core belief not good enough. His dad can't even have breakfast with him sober.
We got, I don't want to say numbed, but we kind of grew accustomed to watching our father die on film. But I think we recognized early on that those type of plot lines were compelling.
Charlie even uses the word numb and then says he doesn't want to use the word numb, but seeing his dad die over and over again in movies is also going to create emotion. We all know what it's like to go to a movie and see one of the actors pass away. It creates emotion. Seeing this with your own dad would also create emotion. So he's learning how to numb and numb and numb, not learning how to deal with and sort through these emotions. Often these unhealthy coping strategies that we use to numb and suppress emotions, they in themselves create emotions like guilt, shame, regret, embarrassed, powerless, vulnerable, self-doubt, disgust. This also then ends up reinforcing and supporting that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued. This becomes a cycle that goes on and on and on. There are many different common unhealthy coping strategies. Alcohol is one, but so is drugs, lying, cheating, stealing, eating disorders, shopping or spending money, gambling. Anything that we're doing generally normally to focus out here, to distract, rather than focusing inward on what's going on for us, is often more of an unhealthy coping strategy that we're using to suppress emotions.
My theory has always been that I don't know that he believes that he deserves what he's got. I think there's a part of him that throws it all away just to see if he ever deserved it. That is what drives people crazy who are close to him, is that there's so many great things about him. If he only believed it, he might stop burning it all down.
In this video, again, you can see the emotions that he's feeling with these unhealthy coping strategies. Shame, disgust. Like John Cryer even says, it's like he didn't deserve success or didn't believe he deserved success. That's that core belief. He actually didn't believe he was worthy of it. Not valued is that significant core belief that's being triggered. He doesn't believe he's worthy of success, so he ends up sabotaging himself so that that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, can be more balanced and continue to be fed through his sabotaging behaviors.
Interesting that he felt the need to express that to me. He felt the need to say, I'm going to be serious about this. Don't be worried. Charlie Sheen is an icon of decadence. I mean, just say his name and everybody knows what that means. So everybody expects the Lothario guy, this guy who's got the quip handy, he could party all night, show up an hour late, breeze through makeup, saying hello to everybody, who's always going to be the cool guy in the room. But you start to realize, oh, okay, there's a lot going on there that he's covering. Charlie's actually this mass of fears. Once I understood that, I understood a lot more about Charlie. But he goes in and out of being able to have a healthy way of dealing with that, and then an incredibly destructive way of dealing with it.
John Cryer's talking about how it was important for Charlie to come and let him know that he was taking this serious. He was really trying to work on things. Problem is, Charlie probably hasn't dealt with things at a deeper level. He's focusing on trying to stop the behavior rather than focusing on what's feeding it and what's causing this behavior in the first place. He's still not good at feeling his emotions. He's using unhealthy coping strategies to suppress these emotions and likely has a lot of guilt and regret from a lot of these more unhealthy coping strategies. This just makes it get bigger and bigger and bigger. John Cryer says it. He's a massive fear. The emotion is underneath it, sitting there. And the core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, continues to grow.
Denise was going south.
As soon as the show started getting really successful, I think the pressure of that changed him. It was almost like he was sabotaging the success and sabotaging our family. When things started to go good, I felt like things were being sabotaged.
I was feeling squirrely, and
He's now feeling a lot of pressure of the success of the show and the need to kind of continue that. Once you have success, there's a lot of pressure built on continuing that success. That creates a lot of emotion. Charlie's not great at feeling his emotion, just like most of us. That core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, continues to fester and grow. The show is going well, so that core belief is not being balanced. So now he needs to personally sabotage to create that balance, creating conflict with his wife at the time, Denise.
heart problems. I couldn't get the show to shut down. So I was basically sleeping at the hospital and trying to learn my dialogue there and going and checking on them all hours of the night and then trying to show up for rehearsals and run-throughs and, on the phone with Brooke in between every take and just really generating a ton of resentment that the show still mattered that much when the stars' kids at birth were in tremendous peril. I mean, the kids are fine. It was a temporary thing, and they got through it, and they're tough as nails. But, yeah, at the time, it was scary, man,
Charlie's twin boys have heart defects. This is going to create a ton of emotion. Not only that, he now has to juggle the show, his wife, everything that's going on. The emotion is building and building and building. He's not coping with and sorting through and feeling these emotions. He's just suppressing them and pushing them down, reinforcing that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued. But then the show won't even stop for him. He's in crisis, and the show keeps pushing forward, reinforcing not good enough, not important, not valued. As these emotions are building and building, it gets harder and harder to cope. One of the things I really strongly recommend is get an emotions list. If you've spent most of your life avoiding emotions and suppressing them, to try to start figuring out what you are feeling, you're likely going to struggle. In my book, Not Good Enough, Understanding Your Core Belief and Anxiety, I have an emotions list. It's also on my website, throwbackholistic.org. Find a list of emotions. Keep it with you. When you're feeling something, get out the list. Problem with emotions is we don't like to feel them, and when we feel emotions, we're usually feeling 5, 10, 15, 20 different emotions all at the same time. So it gets overwhelming. Having a list that you can refer to and just read and identify the emotions you're feeling is allowing you to start to feel that emotion in a very safe way. You're just reading the word for a second or two. That is more manageable.
So much of the anger in my personal life and the anger and the frustration of 2 failed marriages and 4 new children and just never not finding any real success in those pursuits, I decided to take out on Chuck.
And Chuck took it upon himself to shut the show down.
Are you taping this? Are you taping everything now? I have to go look at it. Hi.
What's that?
Just got terminated by Warner Brothers.
My phone's going crazy.
I know, so is mine. This is a really good one. This guy says, any words for Warner Brothers? I said, see you at Fort Knox. That's the only place with enough gold to pay off your treasonous ways. Winner. Fired. Fired.
Congratulations.
Give it up.
Congratulations.
Fuck that show, man. That show was totally beneath me the whole fucking time I was there. They never understood the fucking genius they had. They abused it and they dismissed it, and now they're gonna lose. Because they're not winning.
By the studio telling him no, I think that took his addiction to a higher level. And he's just like, well, okay, I'll show them.
It's the weapon of the trolls. Okay. I'll use it against them one day. Find a way to harness it into 50 caliber strafing runs.
He's really struggling. He's doing everything he can to just kind of hold things together. Suppressing emotion, core belief is continuing to go. He ends up sabotaging himself and getting fired. This creates even more emotion and also reinforces and supports that core belief. Because the emotion is continuing to grow, the coping strategies to deal with the emotion also needs to get bigger and bigger. This is how coping strategies become addiction. The bigger the emotion, the bigger the coping strategy has to be to push it back down. His behavior is continuing to spiral. Things are getting worse and worse and worse for him. Hurt people, his coping strategies now are likely significantly having a negative impact. People who are supposed to love and care about him. His children, his partner, his ex-partners. All of this is getting worse and worse and worse, which means the coping strategies for the emotions of all this also needs to intensify. All these things that he's doing, he's keeping as secrets. So now he also has to hold in all these secrets, which also creates emotion like fear of rejection, powerless, anxiety, paranoia even. So his behaviors are creating more emotion. He needs to suppress his emotion. The coping strategies are becoming more and more significant. He needs to continue in this cycle.
Certain behaviors, certain instances, memories have just for too long had too much power over me. And I'm tired of being held hostage by them.
The Corey Haim allegation, did that happen or did that happen?
Absolute fucking bullshit. This is where everybody's gonna like pause the doc and go find the fucking story and go for it. At that point, they'll have read more of it than I have.
Holding in the emotion creates secrets. Also needing to suppress all of the emotions from the behaviors, from holding in the secrets, also feeding that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued. Stop holding them in. When you let these emotions out and let out these secrets, there's a huge relief that happens in doing this.
It'll be true, other parts of it won't be. But at that point, it's out of my hands. And I guess I encourage them to just have at it.
So this is the first time you're speaking publicly about having sex with men.
Pretty crazy shit.
How does it feel?
It's liberating. It's fucking liberating. And it's
Like finally be able to say things.
just talk about stuff. It's like a train didn't come through the side of the restaurant. A fucking piano didn't fall out of the sky. No one ran into the room and shot me. And so, no, it's uncharted.
Did the sexual journey wander into both men and women like just at that time because of crack, or was that something that had been going?
He talks about the secrets. He talks about having sex with men. He talks about how it's liberating, how he's able to let it out. All that energy of holding in secrets is exhausting. It creates a ton of emotion that you then have to suppress and reinforces not good enough, not important, not valued. In order to really heal, you have to go through and sort through and deal with these things and let them out. Feel the emotions that are connected to them and take any responsibility for your actions or your behaviors. Once you do this, healing is much more of an option. So long as you're keeping in secrets, there's going to be suppressed emotion, and that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, is going to continue. You need to break that cycle by being honest, mainly honest to yourself. This builds and develops the core belief, good enough, important, and valued. So acknowledge the emotions, feel the emotions. Another really significant coping strategy in helping to sort through past experiences, past traumas, take responsibility for past actions and behaviors is writing. When you write, you're giving yourself a voice. You're getting it out. So writing is really important. Then go back and read what you wrote, just silently in your own head. Feel the emotions that are connected to what you're writing. Then challenge yourself even more and read it out loud, giving yourself an actual voice. You do not need anyone else to validate what you are feeling. You just need to do this for you. After you've read it out loud, take it even a step further and read it out loud to yourself while looking in the mirror. While you're doing all of these steps, stop and feel the emotion as it comes. Use the emotions list to help you better understand the emotions that you are feeling. True healing is possible, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort.